Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a story titled, I cheated on my husband with one of his friends, and now I don't know what to do. I want him back, my life is terrible without him. And a big shout out to Ash for sending me this story. And guys, this whole story is about this woman, this very young woman, she's only 23 years old and got married. Big mistake there. And she's basically singing the blues and looking for a lot of pity because of how badly she screwed up her marriage, okay? And, you know, guys, I've done a lot of stories like this, okay? We all know this. And I would say this is definitely up there with one of the worst I've done in terms of a woman with absolutely zero accountability whatsoever for her actions. I mean, this is right up there as one of the worst. You know, there's the old joke about women and accountability. Well, this one is a perfect example, okay? And you're going to see as I go through this, like I said, no accountability. You know, everything is somebody else's fault. Her actions, you're going to see her husband's fault, the guy she was having a fling with, his fault, all that. You're also going to see, to no surprise, which usually goes with this, she's a complete and total narcissist. Absolutely. And on top of that, she's immature as hell, okay? And so this is a perfect example why I tell you guys how it's a mistake people get married so young, because you're going to see here she's super young. But I'm going to go into this story, guys, and I got to tell you, there are a lot of very important lessons in here to obviously pay attention to, especially you young guys or you guys that do relationships. Really listen up to this particular story because it's definitely important here. And I'll point out these lessons as I go. So it starts off, I made a huge mistake, and now I'm caught in such a effed up situation, I don't know what to do anymore. I just wanted advice, but if you're mean, I understand that I made a huge mistake. This is a long story. She says, me, a 23-year-old female, and my husband, a 26-year-old male, have been married for around 3 months, but we've been together ever since our sophomore year of high school, his senior year. So she was 23 when she got married. Let me tell you, as I go through this story, you're going to see she's 23 going on about 14 in terms of maturity. No joke. And why this poor dumb bastard married her, I will never get. Well, I mean, I do get it. I can connect the dots here why he did it, because obviously this is a guy without many options, but just such a shame. She says, we've done everything together. When he went to college, we made sure that I would go to the same school, and he even turned down a better scholarship to go to a school that I had a better chance of getting into, since he was one of the smartest kids and I was one of the more average kids. So right there, he had an opportunity to go to a different college or university and get a much better scholarship because he was a smart kid, but he turned it down so he could go to a place that she could go to, okay? Big mistake number one. Guys, for you guys that are young that watch me, because I know I got young guys in high school around that age, if an opportunity arises that you can go to a certain school and you got a good scholarship there, or you can get a better scholarship going to this school versus this one, and you have a girlfriend that you've been involved with since high school, I don't know what, girlfriend, and you don't want to go because you don't want to lose her, or because just something like this guy's story, don't do it, okay? Go to the college that gives you the better deal, okay? And if it works with her, it works with her. If it doesn't work with her, it doesn't work with her, okay? Believe me, you'll look back in life and say, why the hell did I do that if you passed up a great opportunity for some chick? Trust me on this, okay? I've been there. I've been in that situation. You graduate and you got that girlfriend you had in high school, and there's the where are we going to go, that type of thing. I was there almost 25 years ago when I graduated high school, so I know what it's like. Make the smart decision, okay? Don't listen to here or down there. Listen to here. Your future self will thank you. And guys, by the way, if you happen to get a great job opportunity and you're in a relationship and you're not engaged or married, or even if you are, and you have an opportunity to go to a different city and get a fantastic job opportunity versus where you are presently, but you don't want to do it because you're afraid that it'll screw it up or she won't go, take the opportunity, okay? You can always get another woman. The one thing is horseshit, because let me tell you, given the opportunity, probably she would do it. As also as the girl in college that would take the better school with a scholarship and leave the guy behind, okay? And I guarantee this girl, if she actually had any intelligence and she got a scholarship, she would go and ditch this guy. Just a little lesson there, guys. Don't pass up great opportunities just for some chick. You can always find another. Or if they really want you, they'll go along with you. So right there, he showed that she is more important than his education. And no guy should make it be that the girl is more important than his goals and ambitions. Okay, I make that clear all the time. And so already she now knows this guy's willing to give stuff up for her. Does that make her see him as high value? Does that make her have uncertainty in terms of his attraction for her? No, she has complete certainty. Anyway, I know I went on there a lot, guys, but it's very important to hammer that in. She says they went to school, and she said when he finished, he immediately started working so that he could support us, and I dropped out because he knew I hated school. So the second he's out of school and he gets a good job, she drops out so she could have him support her. What does that say? Is she working hard? Nope. She doesn't care. She was biding her time with school, probably doing just enough to stay in school. The second he's done, oh, I'll take care of you, babe. And she's like, okay. Well, watch how this turns out. It says here she hates school. He works as a software engineer, and he's working for a company that she's not going to mention. She says, sorry for the long background, but I just wanted to show that I do love him. She wrote love him in capital letters, with everything in my being and everything he's done for me, and I wouldn't give him up for anything. Guys, this is total bullshit. Let me tell you right now. Don't fall for any of her I love him stuff. She does not love him. She's not capable of loving him after you hear what happens and later on some of the things she has to say. This is bullshit. She says, here we go. I stay at home and take care of the typical cleaning and cooking and house maintenance. So we have a really good relationship, and we both put in a lot of work to make things stay afloat. So he goes and works, and she just, cooks and cleans. So she's basically the maid or the housekeeper, okay? There's no kids, by the way, and actually thank God for that, okay? But he's working full-time, and she just cooks and cleans. Big deal. And a busy guy can still do all that if he wants to, so he really doesn't need her. She's living rent-free and can do whatever she wants, as you're about to see. She says, before I get into this, I should say that my physical attraction to him wasn't the same as when we started in college. Ever since he started working, he started to work out less and doesn't come to the gym with me as often. He's not fat or anything, but it's obvious he doesn't have as much muscle, and the things he had in college, like his six-pack, which he knows I love, are long gone. So this guy, starting off in his career, obviously going to demand more time, so he's not as built as he once was, which is typically going to happen to a lot of guys once they start in the workforce because they obviously got to put 110% in. I'm not saying let yourself go. You got to make time for your workouts, guys, no matter how busy you are. But if before you started your big job or started a business, which required a lot of your time, if you were going to the gym 4 to 5 days a week, and now you can make time to at least go 2 times a week. So you're at least keeping in shape. You might not be as jacked as you once were, but at least you're keeping yourself fit. But you can see here what's important to her. She says, maybe less working out reduces testosterone, also because the you-know-what isn't as frequent, and when we have it, it's not like it used to be. He's probably stressed out about his job and he's focused on that. That's having an impact. But she doesn't care. She says, starting a couple months ago, one of his better friends, that I will call David, started coming over to hang out. This is not good. Usually I don't like his friends in our place so frequently, but me and David instantly, and she has in giant letters, clicked. David and I hit it off, and my husband was so happy to see that I finally got along with his friends. But then as usual, he ended up going back to work and spending less and less time with me, which honestly might have been one of the reasons that I cheated. She's blaming him. It's not that I was selfish, not that I wasn't willing to communicate how unhappy I was because the husband wasn't spending time with her or things like that. Blame the husband. Okay. Meanwhile, he's doing this, working hard to provide the life that she's used to because she doesn't have to work. And now has a new special friend. And this is the guy's husband. And here's another lesson, guys. Don't let your buddies hang out with your girl. Okay? I don't care who it is. Your best friend, your brother? No. Not at all. And you're going to see where this goes. This guy's obviously unfortunately, very naive. When we were about to get married, he promised me we wouldn't fall out of touch like this in the movies and that he wouldn't abandon me for his work. But that's exactly what I feel like happened. More blaming him. David started, this is the friend, or the so-called friend, David started swinging by a couple of hours before my husband got home to wait for him comfortably, so we started hanging out. The so-called friend was doing this because he could see, obviously, that this girl liked him and he was hoping to get some action. That's what was going on. What a scumbag. He says, we did everything together that I felt like my husband should have taken the time to do with me. We binged Netflix. We talked so much, went out to the movies. Whenever people saw us, and they said I looked happier, and at the point I think I was. David started swinging by to hang out with me more than my husband, so he came home earlier and earlier, and soon it was just at the beginning of the day, as long as he didn't have class. He's working on his master's. So they're spending more and more time together and hanging out, and she feels like this is my real husband. He's treating me the way I deserve to be treated. Okay? As you're going to see, she doesn't deserve shit. Okay? These two are perfect for each other, as you're going to see. One morning when I came by and we started to binge Netflix, I didn't have as much. One morning when he came by, we started to binge Netflix. I didn't have much clothes on as usual because he came at like 9 o'clock in the morning, which was slightly earlier than I expected, but I was already so comfortable with him, it didn't matter. Oh, okay, so she can just answer the door in her underwear, and hey, who cares because we're so comfortable together. No harm, no foul. It's not cheating at all because he's like my brother. Sure, lady. She says, I only had a big t-shirt on and some underwear and didn't even realize it until it was too late that I wasn't wearing a bra. Bullshit. Yeah, right, lady. She absolutely knew what was going on. Women know exactly what they're doing, what they're wearing, what's going on. What a load of crap. See what I told you about? She is 23 going on 14, immature as hell, blaming everything else except her own self. She says, I felt so awkward, then David, as a joke, took off his clothes and only had a shirt and his boxers on and climbed into bed next to me saying it was undies time. What kind of man is going to say it's undies time? He felt like she shouldn't have been that way alone, so he stripped off too and crawled into bed. What a great friend, huh? Guys, never let your friends hang out with your girl. Ever. Your best friend, your brother, I don't care what it is. And if she wants to, get rid of her. So David, as a joke, took off his clothes, blah, 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 and he was abnormally close, but I ended up moving in even closer. He put his hand on my thigh, and I ended up moving to sit between his legs, and before I even thought about it, he turned me around and started, you know what, down south on me, and I kissed him. I didn't intend for it to go further than that, but he was everything that my husband wasn't anymore. Oh, okay, she didn't intend for things to go further than what they're about to, but she did intend for him to come over and strip and kiss her and rub his manhood against her and rise to the occasion. That's okay. He says he was still built, and I couldn't tell he really wanted me more than my own husband, and we ended up having you-know-what. She says, all throughout the day, and he gave me the opportunity to feel ways I do things I hadn't done for so long. And she said, by the way, to make matters worse, I trusted him, of course, so he never used protection. So let's review. Remember in the beginning how she talked about how she loves her husband so much and doesn't want to lose him for the whole world. Meanwhile, she's willing to hook up with his so-called friend in his house, in his bed, and not to mention the icing on the cake here is to have no protection. What a great girl. This sounds like a great wife material here. Told you. She said, I thought I would feel bad, but I didn't. I was really only excited about what I desired and wanted to be satisfied again. Me and David continued this relationship for months, and I ended up giving him the nickname Hubby because I really felt like he was my true husband the way he treated me. But of course, he started to get possessive like men do, and this is where the huge problems began. Treating her the way she felt like she should be treated. How about the guy that's going to work every day, busting his butt, skipping the gym and not being as in shape as he was to provide and take care of you? How about that? How about that guy? Nope. And she says, in the beginning, by the way, is I thought I would feel bad. Well, the reason she doesn't feel bad is because she's no doubt a socio-you-know-what. And total narcissist. She goes on, whenever we had you-know-what, he wanted my wedding ring off. And I ended up losing it, and my husband immediately noticed because I made a point of never having it off. But that was the first thing. David told me to stop kissing my husband or really treating him like he was my husband at all. And I did it, and I treated my husband like crap because he manipulated me into believing he was a shitty husband and the person for leaving me so alone. So now she's blaming the affair partner, the so-called friend David, for her actions and how she treated her husband. So she blamed her husband for cheating. Now she's blaming the guy that she's cheating with for how she's treating her husband. You see, there's no accountability whatsoever. It's all everybody else's fault. It's not me. She says here, I went back on birth control and we never used protection because he didn't like it, and I never objected because I enjoyed feeling being taken again. So again, this isn't bad enough, all these other things, but now he's doing an old faithful in her every time. I mean, this is awful. She says, I stopped kissing my husband. I put as much distance between us in bed as possible. And I made a point to never have you-know-what with him, no matter what. I called him fat and ugly, and when I got angry or was upset, and that just sent my marriage into ruins. She says, again, back to the whole I love him so much thing she said in the beginning. And now, aside from all this, she's insulting him, calling him fat and ugly, all these mean, nasty things. What a catch. Says David was still around, and I guess my husband realized how lovey-dovey I was with David because he started making accusations. And of course, David got possessive again, so when my husband told him he couldn't come over anymore, he sent my husband months worth of pictures, videos, and messages that we had made and we'd send each other as some kind of sick payback. She and this so-called friend of her husband's are perfect for each other. They're both immature. They're both just complete assholes. And this guy, just because he wants her all to himself, to screw it up, he sent the husband all the pictures and videos and conversations. Now, granted, that's what she deserves, but still here. She says, and listen to all this, when my husband got home, he was infuriated, and he screamed and threw things, and I had no idea what to do. Oh, poor you. And I realized that David didn't really care about me as much as my husband did if he was willing to expose me like that. He started yelling about how hard he was working, as if I didn't help out around the house, and he broke a lot of my personal items. He was crying in the corner and talking about how he wanted to off himself, and I was so scared because he randomly kept lashing out again. Notice that she wasn't upset about him saying he wanted to off himself and other things, and she was bitching about him saying, hey, I'm working so hard. She's like, hey, what about me? I help clean the house. Not her fault. He kept asking me questions, half yelling, half crying, about how often and how long it had been going on, and I broke down and started crying too and told him everything. He looked at the videos on his phone, getting angry again because I told David how I loved him and that he was better than my husband and other things that insulted him. In the videos, he saw that we were having you-know-what in our marital bed and that we never used a condom, and he always finished inside me. And I could see something in him just break. Maybe because he was the first time... He was my first back in high school, and I didn't let him do any of that until we were married. God, this poor guy. I feel so bad for him. I mean, he was stupid to let the friend hang out with her. He was stupid to marry her. He was stupid to not say, you're going to get a freaking job. He was stupid to not take that scholarship in another school. But still, he's a brother, so I feel bad for the guy. He's just obviously clueless. But what a shame. She is just complete trash. And this friend of his. He kept scratching at his skin and harming himself in weird ways and insulting himself like I would insult him when I got angry. And I was scared he was going insane. Thankfully, the neighbors called the police due to the yelling, although they took his side a little more than mine, and they asked me if I had somewhere else to stay, so I don't know if they hospitalized him or not. Now I live with my mother, and I'm working part-time again. I regret everything. Oh, now she regrets everything because she's got to actually go and get a job and work, and she's living at home with her mom. And obviously her mom knows about this. Meanwhile, she's not saying, I regret because of how much I hurt him, how much I did to him, how much of a good guy he is. She's not regretting that. It's about this. It continues. Though I still have been able to quite distance myself from David, because I really think he started to care for me once my husband tossed me aside, and he's been here for me. David calls me wifey now, and it hurts because I really just want my husband back. We haven't gotten officially divorced, but he won't take me or return my messages or anything at all. If I send a third party there, he just tells him to tell me to get a lawyer because he wants to divorce me. Good for him. I don't know if I'll do well in divorce since he paid for everything, and because of David, he has a mountain of evidence on me cheating. I really just want for all this to be over and done with. You made your own bed, you lioness, sweetie, okay? You are trash. This is what you deserve. Now, fortunately, because they haven't married that long, I'm going to assume that he's not going to have much in terms of alimony. Hopefully. And since he has all this evidence of the cheating and all that, hopefully they don't live in a no-fault divorce state. I really hope so, because the last thing in a situation like this would be as if, God forbid, she actually got stuff, even though she did all this and he had all the evidence. I mean, that would just be terrible. you know. Continues, she says, what can I do to get him back? And if I don't know how will I do it in the divorce? No, you're not going to get him back. You do not deserve to get this guy back. This guy made mistakes, but no, you do not deserve this guy at all. Now, I'm going to say this, okay? What I'm about to say does not in any way, shape, or form justify her actions or anybody else that does something like this. But she obviously was feeling like she wasn't being paid attention to and him taking her out. He was focusing on the job and all that, which understandably he was doing. But guys, if you're going to do relationships, you're going to do marriage, women need to feel like you actually give a crap. And as stupid as it sounds, as much as you are showing you give a crap by busting your butt in the job to provide everything, you got to take her out every once in a while, no matter how busy you are. So you got to make time at least once a week to take her out somewhere, do something different, whatever. Otherwise, some of this crap will happen. Okay, again, I'm not justifying your actions. I'm just telling you, if you do relationships, understand that you gotta make some time, no matter how busy you are, okay? And if she's a good person, she'll understand that you're busy and doing your best and all that. But there's a lot of trash out here, like her in this story here. It's not gonna care. And I think, honestly, he could have taken her out once a week, twice a week. She probably still would have done this. But I'm just giving you that piece of advice for those who do relationships. I've done enough of them, and I understand this. Now she goes into some brief updates here. You're going to like this more. And what she's about to say in a moment, and I'll point it out, is really going to show you just exactly who her real character is. She says, update. After writing this post, I was able to get into contact with my husband's sister, and apparently he's not doing very well mentally. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Apparently he hasn't been eating and has lost a ton of weight. She said all he does is work and sleep and maybe eat every other day. She said, I also did nearly unfixable damage to his confidence because now he's afraid to go out in public because he thinks people will see him as a joke. Now listen to this. This sums up her whole character. She says, honestly, I don't see how his mental condition is my fault. It's his response and his choice to do what he's doing. No accountability. It's his fault for him being this upset. It's not my fault. It's not my fault that I was cheating on him with his friend, cheating on with him in the house, not using protection, yelling at him, starting fights, all these other things. It's not my fault. It's his fault that this happened. And it's his fault that he just can't just brush it off like it's nothing. I wholeheartedly believe that she is a sociopath and doesn't understand feelings, doesn't feel anything at all. Right here. And the only reason she wants him back and says she loves him because he pays the bills. And mark my words, if he took her sorry ass back, she'd be doing this again down the road. Mark my words. Because she doesn't care. Again, I'm going to read that. Honestly, I don't see how his mental condition is my fault. It's his response and his choice to do what he's doing. God almighty. You know how long it's going to take this guy to get over this? Because he really thought that, unfortunately, in his warped mind, he thought she was the one. He gave up all these things for her and all that. It's going to take a long time for this guy to get over this. So I really hope this guy gets through this stuff. I really do, because holy crap. And finally, she says about his sister, she still wants me to sign the papers and is threatening me with any evidence that he has sent to him by David. I'm going to hold off on any attempt to get back until I can assure him that he's not going to do anything drastic like that on the night that he found out. What a piece of work. Well, she's a piece of something, but not a piece of work. But anyhow, guys, there is a perfect example. Like I said, one of the worst stories I've done in a while, and definitely one of the top worst people stories I've done in a while in terms of just zero accountability, complete and total narcissist. You know, it doesn't mean that every situation is going to be like this. No. But there are a lot out there. So you guys got to be aware of this, okay? You really got to get to know who you're getting involved with, okay? If you do relationships. And if you're going to get married, holy crap, you got to spend years really getting to know who this girl is, her true colors, what her family's like. Oh, I did a video about a month ago about top 20 things to do if you're going to get married, things to look out for and all that. Because it can be like this. And this is awful. It's a shame. But again, the lesson there is, guys, like I said in the beginning, if you have a great opportunity, whether it be if you're already out of college, you have a job somewhere, and your girl doesn't want you to move, but you have a fantastic opportunity in a different city, take the opportunity. Because either she'll come or she doesn't. Okay? And believe me, if she doesn't, as much as it may be hard for you to deal with that, you can replace her. You'll find somebody else, okay? Because there's almost 8 billion people on the planet. And this whole idea that there's only one person for you, this whole magical idea that there's one person for you that you're going to click with in the world, that's a load of shit. There's plenty of people you can click with if indeed that's what you want, okay? But never give up an opportunity like that, because he passed up a great scholarship. And think if he took that scholarship, thinking that parallel universe. He took that scholarship and he went away from her. They broke up because obviously she had been hooking up with somebody else. This could be totally different, right? So, but anyhow, guys, don't do that. And of course, the lessons of narcissists and paying attention there. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.